Very good morning, swimming fans. Welcome here to the Brisbane Aquatic Centre, and it's our day one of our Hancock Prospecting World Swimming Trials. Kurt Hansen joined here by the newly retired James Magnuson. And Maggie, great to have you here on pool deck. And firstly, I guess before we look at day one, congratulations on the career and the retirement announcing that earlier this week.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. It feels a little bit weird being back on pool deck and not racing today, but should be a fun week, and hopefully I can give you a few hot tips.
Looking forward to it. You can just feel a little bit of tension on pool deck this morning. This means something, doesn't it? Obviously, 6 days of competition coming up. Spots for that World Championship team on the line right here, right now. And it starts with these heats this morning. Top 8 quickest into the finals tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Tensions will be high. This is what the athletes have been training for the last 12 months. It's a big year leading into the Olympic Games next year, so everyone will want to be on their game. And we should see some fast swimming this morning.
We saw just the Australian Championships just 2 months ago. There wasn't much on the line there in terms of selection, obviously nothing major, but gee, some great swims there. And if that's just a little bit of an entree attempt to what we've got coming up, but we should see some really fast swimming over the week here in Brisbane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of the swimmers probably wouldn't have fully tapered for that Australian Championship. So anyone that was swimming fast down in Adelaide should be swimming even faster up here in Brisbane. So that's exciting.
Looking forward to it. We can take a look at the program. I guess the takeaway for everyone in the stands and for those at home as well, it's short and sharp. The sessions are only an hour long. We're cutting all the fat away, aren't we? This is the best of the best, and there's no room for complacency.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a premium product this week. Just 1 hour. It should be super fast swimming and exciting for everyone at home.
Yeah, so 5 events coming up on this morning's program. We started with that women's 100 freestyle, and obviously headlined there by Emma McKeon. She's by far been the most consistent dolphin over the last 4 years, and she's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think Emma will be looking to get her week off to a strong start in that 100. I think she'll probably be focusing on a few other events as well this week, but it'll be a nice one to get out of the way early in the program.
Yeah, I spoke to her yesterday, and she was kind of excited that she didn't have any double ups this week, because she really is the Iron Woman. She does so many events in the program. Just nice to be able to just do one event per day rather than have to do so many. And obviously Maddie Groves there, Breeth Rossell's been great from WA, and the hardest part going through all these events, only 2 spots on the line for the Worlds, and it's so harsh. Especially you're going to see a lot of these events, 3, 4 world-class swimmers, and someone's got to miss.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly in that women's 100 butterfly, it's going to be a brutal race. There's easily 4 world-class swimmers in that event. So somebody's missing out, so I expect it to be really fast.
Yeah, it's going to really take it up another level. Men's 100 breaststroke, and we spoke about the national titles 2 months ago. Matt Wilson just tore it to shreds. Commonwealth record in that 200 breaststroke, and now we see him in the 1, and it comes around in cycles, doesn't it? But now Wilson, he's in career best form.
Yeah, that's right. Matt Wilson was really exciting down in Adelaide. He was really quick. He'll probably go into this one, if not the favourite, second favourite. Jake Packard had a huge swim last year at Panpac, so expect him to be there or abouts.
Yeah, Zach Stubblety-Cook, throw him in as well. And on his day, you just never know what might happen. And today's the day. Women's 200 IM. We go from some of the more experienced competitors to some of the lesser so. And gee, Kaylee McEwen, 17 years of age, a very bright future, and obviously she showed it last year and continues to get better with every swim. Really excited to see what she can do in that 200 IM.
Yeah, Kaylee should be fast in this one. I think it's going to be a big year for her leading into the Olympic Games. If she's a hope of finaling or even medaling at the Olympics next year, she'll want to have a big season this year. So she should be quick this morning and impressive tonight, I expect.
Yeah, nice to get that first 200 IM, obviously, out and done, and she'll be there in the 200 backstroke as well. And she'll have some rivals there. Abby Harkin, Blair Evans, the veteran, still there and still going, and obviously great fighter in 200, 400 IM in her program. Women's 400 freestyle, and definitely one of the highlights of the program. Ariane Titmus equalled her Commonwealth record at the Australian champs in the 400 2 months ago, and every time she hits the water, something special generally happens.
Yeah, this will be one of the highlights of the meet for me. Ariane, Australia's new golden girl. Hopefully she can be fast here in her home pool. Home crowd, maybe we could see something special, who knows?
Yeah, this women's middle distance freestyle is just a gluttony of talent, isn't it? And it's so exciting. And then flip that on top of the Olympic program now, where obviously the women get the 1500, the men get the 800. It just makes it even better. And Kaya Melverton there, Maddie Goff, the pair from TSS, and Lani Pallister. just getting better with every swim as well, the teenager.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Look, everyone will be chasing Ariane, but I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, how fast will they go? And then just that one more event, the men's 400 freestyle. And again, 3 big boys, doesn't go into 2.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably the race of the night for me. Probably the first time that Mac will be really challenged on home soil. So it'll be interesting to see how he stands up to that challenge. And it'll be a great setup for these guys for the World Championships. This should be a fast one.
Yeah, Mac Horton, the Olympic champion in that one. Elijah Winnington, obviously the Gold Coast teenager, had a breakout performance last year at the Com Games. And talk about breakout performances. Jack McLaughlin, obviously the Commonwealth 1500 champ, alive in that also. But to make the finals tonight, you've got to get the job done in the heats this morning. So heats not too far away, just under 15 minutes at 10 a.m. start here from Brisbane. Great to have you with us if you're online, courtesy of Swimming Australia, or you're here at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre. Day 1 of our Hancock Prospecting World Swimming Trials just around the corner. So once again, a very good morning, everyone. Welcome here to the Brisbane Aquatic Centre, Day 1 of our Hancock Prospecting World Swimming Trials. And our 5 events coming up on this morning's program. Women's 100 butterfly to start us off, the men's 100 breaststroke, women's 200 IM, and then finishing off the morning with the women's 400 freestyle and the men's 400 freestyle. And joined here by James Magnuson and Maggie. He's touched on it before in the event preview, but short and sharp program throughout the 6 days of competition, and each of these sessions just around about the 60-minute mark. So it's going to be fast and furious swimming.
Yeah, I think that's really good for both the fans here in the stands today and at home, and the swimmers as well. It's nice to come in, have a quick heat session, and then get back and have that nice afternoon nap before some fast final swimming. So short program helps everybody.
Yeah, top 8 fastest times in each of the events this morning. We'll see them go through and contest the finals tonight. Of course, finals from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And great to see this crowd shuffling in here on a gorgeous Sunday morning here in the River City. And a big shout out to all those watching online throughout Australia and the world on our live stream. Great to have you with us also, courtesy of Swimming Australia on our website, Facebook page, and the iSwim app. And also, if you download the 7 Plus app, you can watch us on there. Or if you want to be really clever and you've got a smart TV, you can stream it on the big screen through 7 Plus. So plenty of ways to watch the competition over the next week.
Yeah, beautiful. It could be a few tired eyes in the crowd tonight after watching Ash Barty take out the French Open. That was quite late last night, so we might have a few people rolling in late to this crowd.
Yeah, she didn't waste any time, but a fantastic result. I think the first Australian woman in 47 years to win the French Open. So, yeah, awesome stuff. And it pumps you up, doesn't it, as well, like being a member of the Australian team, and when you see another Aussie, produce on the big stage, it's very motivating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to see Aussies out there dominating on the world stage. We're all representing the same country, so it's very motivational, and hopefully a few of the swimmers stayed up late and watched Ash get the win last night.
Yeah, well, probably up early tomorrow morning as well. The Matildas open their account at the Women's World Cup there in France against Italy also. That's from the tennis and the football to pool deck and our swimming program. And ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome to pool deck now our technical officials for this morning's session. And let's meet our team. Firstly, for this morning's session, our referees for this session. Our referee for the men's events from Western Australia, Jackie McNamara. Our referee for the women's events from Queensland, Alan Smith. Our starters for this session, our starter for the men's events from Queensland, David Gregory. And our starter for the women's events from Queensland, Steve Carsley. And we'd also like to thank and welcome our technical manager for this meet, Kay Bulger. We now invite the technical officials to please take their seats. And behind the blocks now, we have our competitors in the first event, Event 1. It's heats of the women's 100 metres butterfly. There'll be 5 heats for this event. Behind the blocks, heat number 1. So away in racing here, and the first of 5 heats. And just the 2 swimmers in the pool to get us going. And looks like Sarah Kemp out there in 3 and Lucy Jones in 4. And both these teenagers, good experience here, Maggie, for them to come here to Brisbane and get a hit out, and probably see them in a few more events as the meet goes on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good chance to get some racing competition at a meet like this. These girls are actually looking pretty good down this last lap, so they'll be trying to knock off a few people in the later heats. Let's see what they can do in this last 25 as the pain starts to kick in a bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a match race here. Stroke for stroke. Going to come down on the wall. Going to be very tight. Under the flags, and it looks like will be Sarah Kemp there of Carlisle taking out that first heat, 103.41. So official results there for heat number 1, the women's 100 butterfly being displayed on the scoreboard, and behind the blocks, swimmers in heat 2. In the second heat, full accompaniment now. 8 swimmers in this one. And obviously the seeded heats to come a little later on, so they're going to get quicker. And obviously as we get to the pointy end, 5 heats in total. But Maggie, for these girls, just trying to produce the best possible swim you can, and always looking at a personal best and just trying to improve every time you hit the water. Yeah,
that's right. These girls are very evenly matched in this heat, so if they want any chance of a final later on tonight, then they're going to want to have a dominant performance in this heat, as we see a couple of swimmers break away from the pack a little here down this last lap.
Yeah, so they're wanting to get their championships off to the best possible start. And Georgia Wells, the 20-year-old from Brisbane Grammar, trying to push towards that minute mark as close as they can get. Tight on the wall. And it will be Wilson outside there. Fast finish for her. So 24-year-old from Manly, Lauren Wilson, takes it out there in lane 1. 102.43. Official results there for that second heat on the scoreboard. And behind the blocks, we have the swimmers in heat 3. Racing now, this is where things start to get serious, and 3 girls all under the minute mark in this one, and the experience there of Holly Barrett, obviously a sprint specialist in the 50, but can also go up to the 100. And a fellow Western Australian, Bree Throssell, definitely going to be one in the mix, isn't she? 23-year-old from UWA West Coast.
Yeah, Brianna Throssell, probably better known for the 200 butterfly, so she should be really strong on this second 50. She'll definitely be aiming as this is one of her events to try and make the World Championships, so looking for a strong start to the meet for her this morning. She's looking pretty good down this last lap, being challenged by, I think that's Yelan Kukla over the side there.
Yeah, Kukla, she's just 23 years of age. Feels like she's been around a long time. Obviously made her first national team a while back now, but tight on the wall there. And it will be Throssell that takes it out, 58.74.
Sharp, very sharp morning swim.
Yeah, nice to get in that close to that 58-second barrier. So she's definitely come to race. They've got a good contingent here, the Western Australians.
Great swim by Yelan Kukla there too. Should see her in the final.
Yeah, anything under the minute mark is impressive, and you can see there Throssell leads the way, 58.74. Kukla there also, 59.59. Those results on the board. Behind the blocks now, the swimmers in Heat 4. And yeah, a few out in this one. See his fourth heat away, just one to follow, but it's the big one that is out. Madeline Groves, the 24-year-old from the Gold Coast, and such an incredible talent, and obviously there in Rio as well. And sad to see her not racing here, but no doubt eyes towards Tokyo.
Yeah, so we've heard that she's decided to not compete at this meet, and therefore the World Championships later this year. So Maddie Groves obviously shifts her focus now to Tokyo. She got a medal in the Rio Olympics in that 200 butterfly, so it should be a great chance again in Tokyo. So Maddie, if you're watching at home, all the best for your preparation as she shifts her focus now obviously to Tokyo.
Yeah, and obviously Groves out and Jack Cartwright out as well for St. Peter's Western and that shoulder injury, and much the same, he'll reset and eyes towards Tokyo. So wish him the best in the recovery there as they hit the wall in this one, and will be Costa that takes it, the teenager from Nuttawading. And a 1:00.51, and it's going to be very tight in qualifying, those top 8 spots for the final tonight.
Yeah, it's looking close. They probably missed having Maddie to pace them there a little in that heat.
Official results there for that fourth heat of the women's 100 butterfly on the scoreboard. And away we go, fifth and final heat of the 100 fly for the ladies, and no doubt all eyes on the middle lanes there. And Emma McKeon said in the preview that the star performer, not just the star female performer, but the star performer in the Australian team over the last 4 years. So consistent, every major meet, massive programs and massive medal hauls. Yeah, her consistency and her durability is unmatched in the Australian swim team. She does multiple events, every world titles, Olympics, Commonwealth Games, and always brings home a bag full of medals. Emma's looking really relaxed and really strong here in this 100 butterfly as she starts off what's going to be a really big week for her. Yeah, I think from memory, 5 medals she took home from the World Champs in Budapest 2 years ago. That's a big program.
It's huge.
Every time she's there and already showing, really getting after it. She was impressive in that 100 fly at the Australian Champs. And that's an impressive heat swim as well, 57.52.
That is a very fast heat. Looked like she really switched off those last 5 metres too, so I expect we could be seeing a 56 point tonight in that final. Yeah, the Commonwealth record holder off to a fly there in that one. And there we go, official results, and then we'll see if we can hold up that result summary as well for the moment and see our top 8 qualifiers to go through
to tonight's final. Get those on the scoreboard and on the big screen shortly as well. And that's what it's all after. And there we go. McKeon leads the way ahead of Throssell. So no major real absences there, obviously with the absence of Matty Groves, but all to race for in this evening's program. And we turn our attention now to event 2, and it's the heats of the men's 100 metres breaststroke. There'll be 4 heats for this event. Behind the blocks, swimmers in heat 1. And the first of 4 heats coming up in the 100 breaststroke, and we'll see if we can get those qualifiers back up for you as well for those watching online on the live stream. But no mucking around here. Maggie, 1 event down and straight into our second event, the 100 breaststroke, and obviously the same for all these heats this morning. They're just going to get quicker as we go through and get to the pointy end, those seated prelims.
Yeah, we've got a pretty stacked event here. Jake Packard, Liam Hunter, Matthew Wilson and Zach Stubblety-Cook. So expect these heats to be fast. These guys in the early heats are going to want to post something close to their PB if they want to progress tonight.
So the 3 boys here are all pretty tight. Luke Bibby of Carlisle, you see that orange cap. 23-year-old lane 4. Clayton Fowler of Southport, a teenager from just down the road. Looks like might get it, and he will. Clayton Fowler there from Southport Olympic, 106.13. Official results there for that first heat of the men's 100 breaststroke on the scoreboard. Behind the blocks, the swimmers in heat 2. And second heat of 4 in the water, a seeded heat, and yeah, a couple of big names in the middle lanes, as you'd expect. Zach Stubblety-Cook, the 20-year-old local here from West Brisbane, and Grayson Bell in there from TSS on the Gold Coast, and the experience of James McKechnie as well of Starplex in lane 3.
Yeah, this should be a quick heat, straight into the seeded heats for this one. You saw Zach Stubblety-Cook was a little slow off the blocks there, so he's got a bit of catching up to do in this second 50. He is better known for his 200 breaststroke, so again, he should finish strong. It's in lane 3 here. James McKechnie looking very strong.
Yeah, really going after it. And I guess you come into this meet and the first day and you just want to get it off to a positive start. Get after it and sometimes go maybe a little bit harder than you should, but it's just nice to blow the cobwebs out.
Yeah, you've got to blow the cobwebs out on that first swim. Get rid of a few early nerves.
So great second lap there, and Stubblety-Cook, impressive 1:00.85 and almost close to a negative split for that one. Get those official results shortly, but you have a rule infraction to announce as well from event 1, heat 4, the women's 100 butterfly. Lane 5 has been disqualified, started before the starting signal. It's event 1, heat 4, the women's 100 fly. Lane 5 disqualified, started before the starting signal. So official results there for that second heat of the men's 100 breaststroke on the scoreboard. Behind the blocks, swimmers in heat 3. Third heat away, and just one to follow this one. And no doubt all eyes on Matthew Wilson, 20-year-old from Sydney Olympic Park, and spoke about it in the preview. 200 breaststroke. It came out of not out of absolutely nowhere, but just blew me away at 2:07.1. It was just incredible 2 months ago at the Australian Championships.
Yeah, and speaking to his camp, he had a few niggling injuries going into the meet, so he didn't have the best preparation, but obviously he got the taper right for that one. Hopefully his coach gave him a little bit of time off training leading into this one, having seen his results in Adelaide.
It was probably the swim of the meet, to be honest.
It
Probably,
was.
Probably right up there with, obviously, Ariane's probably 200, 400, and Kyle Chalmers' PB in the 100 free as well. There were some great swims at the Australian Champs, and Wilson here, obviously 200, but you go in the 100 as well. It looks quick, and just outside that minute mark, he'll take out his qualifier. Quickest time of the morning so far, 1:00.49.
Yeah, it looked very comfortable last 10 metres there into the wall. Doesn't look like he's puffing too hard. Could have a bit in the tank.
So official results there for that men's Heat 3 100 breaststroke being displayed on the scoreboard. And we're just after our two swimmers, or representatives of our two swimmers, Tanya Stovgaard of Southport Olympic and Lauren Wilson of Manly. If you can come see Kay Bolger, our technical manager, immediately. That's Tanya Stovgaard of Southport Olympic and Lauren Wilson of Manly to our technical manager, Kay Bolger, immediately. Thank you. Behind the blocks, our swimmers in the fourth and final heat of this men's 100 metres breaststroke. Last heat, last chance to qualify for the final tonight. Only the top eight quickest to go through in this men's 100 breaststroke. And again, plenty of solid swimmers here. And Jake Packard, it's been great to see him back. He's almost had a full 12 months back, training and competition as well. And he's certainly got the experience and the runs on the board to step it up here. Yeah,
he had a huge Pan Pacs last year, posting one of the fastest Australian times we've seen in a very long time. Also in this heat here, we've got Josh Palmer in lane 2, Rio Olympian. So this is a pretty stacked heat. The boys are looking pretty strong here. See if anyone can break that 1 minute barrier this morning. Jake's looking like he's giving it a bit of a shake.
Yeah, Packard really going for it here. And then the boys have been close to the 1 minute mark. Also a good swim from Daniel Cave. They touch on the wall just outside. Packard there, 1:00.29 will go through to the final tonight.
I don't think anyone's showing their cards yet this morning. Again, Jake doesn't look too tired after that one, so we could be in for a good race tonight. Race in about 5, I reckon.
Yeah, so there we go. The official results there from that last heat and our results summary up on the scoreboard. And you see our top 8 qualifiers through to the final this evening, and certainly all the big names will be there. Packard, Cave, Matt Wilson, Stubblety Cook, all there as well. So we'll get that result summary up shortly on the live stream. Just got the results from that fourth and final heat. But yeah, Maggie made a good point. It's going to be a tight one all around that minute mark, and 4 or 5 of these boys, if someone can just step it up another level that they haven't been before, they could throw themselves straight into world champs contention. Yeah,
we're going to need to see 59 lows tonight if they want to get the qualifying time for the World Championships. I think we'll at least see one of them dip under that, but I expect to see a couple. I think Matt Wilson and Jake Packard both looked really good this morning and probably switched off that last 10 metres of their respective races.
So yeah, all the big names go through, and we won't be too far away from a start in our next event, that women's 200 IM. There'll be 3 heats of that one coming up very shortly. So we'll apologise there for the results summary, but we'll see if we can track it down, and we'll move on to our next event. Event 3, women's 100, 200 individual medley. So the first of 3 qualifiers, women's 200 IM, and straight into these seated names, and yeah, plenty of youth and experience. Like I said, Blair Evans looking to go to Tokyo, and just what a career, and just such a roller coaster through injury, and for her to hang in there and still continue to produce world-class times is a testament to her courage as well, isn't it? And see Cotty Nawadi back in the pool as well, and then from some of the most experienced swimmers to a youngster like Charlie Brown, just 16 years of age from Manly, who's been ripping up that age group scene for the last couple of years.
Yeah, this heat's got it all. There's some great stories there of perseverance and determination. Looks like the young gun, Charlie Brown, is going to take it out in this backstroke leg. Blair as well, better known for her 400 IM, so expect her to finish strongly. Cotty's looking pretty good out there this morning too.
Yeah, so these 3 have kicked away, and Charlie Brown there, just 16 years of age, and a big future, that's for sure, and certainly such a consistent and strong swimmer in that age group category. But it's never easy coming up racing against the women, and you can see now just the power and the strength of Evans and Nawadi in this breaststroke leg as see them skipped away.
Here's Blair moving through now. Freestyle, her preferred stroke, so expect her to have a good last leg here. It's really helpful, particularly for an event like 200 IM, to have a few people to match race against in a heat, because you can lose concentration and switch off in those heats sometimes, so it's good to see these girls pushing themselves right to the end. We should get some pretty decent heat times as we see them coming into the wall now.
Never easy when you've got 2 more heats to come, so you want to post a solid time. And coming down here, Blair Evans take out this first heat at 2:15.31. Strong heat swim. Cotty Nawadi there, 2:15.71. And Charlie Brown, 2:16.54. Official results there for that first heat, now being displayed on the scoreboard. And we turn our attention behind the blocks very shortly. Our swimmers in Heat 2 on this women's 200 metres individual medley. Time's been set. No, not a bad time, was it, in that first heat? 2:15?
Yeah, it should be pretty comfortably through to the final. I think, again, in an event like this, you don't want to use up all your energy in the heat this morning. As we see another strong lineup in Heat 2 here with Abby Harkin, Tessa Wallace, and a 14-year-old in Ella Ramsey.
Yeah, it's a big squad, that St. Peter's Western squad, isn't it? And
it's a bit of a talent factory over there at St. Peter's. They churn out some great swimmers. So we see 3 St. Peter's swimmers in this heat. See if Tessa can stick it to them.
Yeah, Dean and Maxine certainly got their hands full over the next 6 days of competition as well. Big squadron.
If anybody's got the energy for that, that would be Dean Boxall.
Well, we come down the halfway mark. We'll check in. It will be the veteran from the sunny coast in Tessa Wallace.
Yeah, expect her to move away a little in the breaststroke here. It's a best stroke. If Abby Harkin can stick with her, she should have a strong finish in the freestyle, I think.
Yeah, I think this is probably Harkin's time to really step it up and make a name for herself.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually spent a bit of time training with Abby at Ravenswood in Sydney, so I know her quite well. It's pretty exciting to see her come through and represent Australia last year at the World Short Course Championships. This looks like a pretty strong heat swim from Tessa and Abby here. They'll want to put themselves in a middle lane for the final tonight to be able to see the rest of the competition.
Yeah, they're really eyeballing each other here. It's what you love to see. These qualifiers pushing each other. Maybe tight on the wall here between Wallace and Harkin. Down a touch, and it will be Harkin that just gets it to 16.00, 16.100s ahead of Wallace. And fast finishing Tiani Gilmore as well from the Sunshine Coast. So just a little bit slower than the first heat. You think that would be enough to get those first few girls into tonight's final. Of course, top 8 quickest to go through and race off for a spot on that World Championship team. It's coming up in South Korea, Gwangju. Official results there from that second heat now being displayed on the scoreboard. And behind the blocks, we have the swimmers in the third and final heat of this women's 200 metres individual medley. Last heat, and again, last chance to qualify. Looking through the field, and one name stands out. Kaylee McEwen, 17 years of age still, just a teenager, but what a talent. And we touched on in the preview, what a future she has.
Yeah, a huge future for Kaylee. Like we said in the preview, she'll be wanting to have a big year this year leading into Tokyo. She looks very strong down that first 50 there in the butterfly. It'll be interesting to see how hard she pushes it this morning, having seen those first couple of heats weren't crazily fast, so she probably doesn't have to push it too hard. This is her strongest leg now, the backstroke. She's looking very comfortable.
Yes, stroking away nicely. McEwen there. Meg Bailey from Hunter, a 22-year-old in lane 5. And so too Karen Clark of Trinity Aquatic. They turn at the halfway mark. McEwen leads the way, 102.35. Clark there, 103.15, 1/100th back to Bailey.
This heat's starting to spread out a little now. See Kaylee separating herself from the rest of the field. Meg Bailey just sticking with her. This looks like it'll be the fastest swimmer this morning for this 200 IM.
Yeah, Bailey having a good race behind McEwen. Probably comes into this as a fairly short price favourite on paper, but still got to get it done. And these two have skipped away strongly from the rest and go through and qualify for tonight's final.
Looks like Meg Bailey is going to push her right to the finish here. So this is good for these two. They'll come in pretty similar time to the first two heats, a little bit quicker.
Yeah, a little bit quicker, so that'll be the quickest time. And McEwen will go through as the fastest qualifier, 2:14.60 from lane 4. And see Bailey there as well. Time didn't register, but we'll probably get an adjusted time, and that'll probably be the second quickest of the morning also, so probably right alongside her. When that comes up, Nice start to the meet for those two.
Should be an exciting final tonight. Got a couple of big names in there.
Yeah, there we go. Official results from that final heat of the women's 200 individual medley being displayed on the board. Kaylee McEwen from USC Spartans Club there on the Sunshine Coast will lead them through. And there you go, result summary. Top 8 qualifiers. McEwen, Bailey, Evans, Nawadi, Harkin, Wallace, Brown, the teenager sneaks through. So, great result for her. And it looks like Gilmore will fill that 8th and final position. McEwen's Spartans teammate.
It's taken a 2:16 to qualify for that final, so pretty sharp.
And behind the blocks now, it's the women's 400 metres freestyle. There'll be 5 heats, and about to go, heat 1. So settle in, 5 heats coming up, the women's 400 freestyle. And you know those last 2 are going to be red hot. And for the rest of these girls, it's like we've seen those earlier heats today, they've just got to give it everything they've gotten. One thing I love about World's Trials, Maggie, is when you've got those people right on the cusp where they're not sure if they're going to make it or not. They can't hold back. They've got to give it everything they've got this morning. And if they make it, they do, but you can't leave anything in the tank.
Yeah, that's right. Particularly this week, not having any semi-finals, a lot of these guys are going to have to be on their game in the morning to make the final, particularly in these early heats. Knowing that we've got Ariane Titmus and a few of the other girls later on in the heats, they're going to have to go very fast in these first few if they want a chance of qualifying for the final. But again, a great experience for these girls to be racing some world-class competition. So hopefully we can get a few PBs in these early heats of the women's 400 freestyle.
Yeah, Alex Whitney leads the way, 17-year-old from Acacia Bayside out there in lane 3. Off to a good start on that first 100. And obviously on paper, these girls are really going to push to make that final, so they're going to have to give it everything they've got. This is their final, really, and if they can pull out a personal best.
Yeah, that's right. It's a brutal event, the 400 freestyle. It's never an easy race to do, let alone at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. So these girls will be pushing it for sure, trying to get their best time here this morning, but not ideal conditions to do a PB. A lot of these girls would have done their PBs racing at night time at state champs, national age championships or other events. So if they can be close to their best this morning, that's a huge achievement.
So halfway mark goes through, and still Whitney leads the way, 2:11.25. Okay, back to Anderson out there, 17-year-old from the Fraser Coast, and well, 17 is the oldest age in this field. A couple of 16-year-olds as well, and a couple of 15-year-olds.
Yeah, it's making me feel old. Feels good to be on this side of the microphone when I hear the ages of some of these swimmers nowadays.
Yeah, it's quite a... Well, Kaylee McEwen's a great example.
Yeah, that's right.
2001? Wow.
I think earlier this week we saw the first State of Origin player born in the 2000s. In swimming, we've been doing it for the past couple of years. We're leading the way. But yeah, it is crazy to think some of these girls are born in the new millennium.
Well, it only feels like yesterday. World Championships in Fukuoka in 2001, and Australia beat the United States for the first time in the gold medal tally, and obviously head coach then, Don Talbot. It was unforgettable, and world records dropping left, right and centre, and see all the big names, and Hackey and Thorpe, and just crushing it. And
Does that mean we've got a bit of an advantage swimming in Japan again?
I think so. We've got good memories, that's for sure.
Is that our most successful World Championships ever, I believe?
Yeah, most ever, and I think the only time ever that we've defeated the US in gold medals. Even though they did win more medals, they told us that they won it on more medals, but no. For the first time, they wanted to count it on total medals rather than gold medals.
That sounds unlike America. Yeah. They wouldn't do that, would they?
A big shout out to all our US fans and swimmers, no doubt watching in the wee hours over there. And a firm eye on our world trials, which we've really replicated from them as well. Having our trials just 5 weeks out from the world titles now, and be similar as the girls come down. A great finish there. It looks like it will be Jacqueline Davison-McGovern, 15-year-old from right here in Brisbane, Yeronga Park.
Great morning swim. That looks like it's a PB for her, so she'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah, 4:24. Strong swimming. Great to see the green and gold cap of Yeronga Park back in action here.
Storied cap.
So official results there for that Heat 1 of the women's 400 freestyle being displayed on the scoreboard, and they're on the screen if you're watching on our live stream. And up next, behind the blocks, competitors in Heat 2. And second heat away in this women's 400 freestyle. As always, competitors' names, clubs, lane assignments can be found on the scoreboard or on the left-hand side of the screen. If you're watching online, courtesy of Swimming Australia or our 7+ app. And don't forget, swimming fans, if you can't make it out here to the Brisbane Aquatic Centre throughout the week, I've got that live stream on the Swimming Australia website, the Facebook page, the iSwim app, or you can download the 7+ app, courtesy of our great major partners in the 7 network.
For those people in the crowd looking for a bit of entertainment through these early heats of the women's 400 free, watch these coaches down on deck here start to wave their swimmers on this last 100 metres.
I think as well, a lot of swimmers watching online and a lot of surf swimmers watching online, looking at some of these teenager 15-year-olds going a 420 for a 400. I know there's a lot of grown adult men that wish they could.
Yeah, it's very impressive. The times we see these days are just out of control. These young swimmers coming through, swimming fast at 14, 15, 16 years of age. Now we're seeing swimmers peaking on the world stage at 17 years of age.
So pretty tight one across the pool as they make their way down to the halfway mark. Good start out there. Gabrielle Scudamore, 17-year-old from Brisbane Grammar, and not surprising to see a lot of these Brisbane-based swimmers doing well in their hometown. You get to stay in your own bed, and it's comforting.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to race in your home pool. I personally always love racing in Sydney, just to be able to sleep in your own bed the night before, have your own, even small things like having your own cooking utensils around the apartment so you're not burning your bacon and eggs on race day. All those little things help. And I'm sure a lot of these Brisbane-based swimmers have got their friends and family in the crowd today, so that's that little bit of extra motivation for a big swim. They'd also be very comfortable racing here at Chandler. They would have swum here many times over their careers.
Yeah, it's a great little crowd in here for the heat session, that's for sure, and no doubt it'll step up another notch tonight when those world title spots are on the line and our finals program starts from 6 p.m.
Yeah, it is a great crowd, which always helps. It can be a little bit hard to get up emotionally for the heat sometimes, but having a good crowd in the house definitely helps. And I'm, again, sure for those Brisbane swimmers, they've got friends and family here cheering them on this morning.
Yeah, so the turn there with 100 to swim, still tight, but lead now there with Charlotte Mitchell, the 18-year-old from TSS Aquatic. They're on the Gold Coast. It's still pretty tight, and said 3 more heats to follow this, and 2 real big ones, those final 2 qualifiers. And
this is a tough heat, this one. It's really spread out, so some of these swimmers are more or less swimming on their own right now. Nothing really to pace them, as they probably can't see the other swimmers because there's big gaps in between them. So it'll be gutsy last 50 here from the girls.
yeah, it's a tough time to be a middle distance swimmer in Australia for the ladies.
Tough time in the world, really, with Katie Ledecky over in America.
Yep, it's definitely. It is at its absolute peak of its power right now. It's a pleasure to watch, and this next generation is not far off either. So nice second 200 there. It's going to see Mitchell take out this second heat. The Gold Coast star, 4:19.46.
It looks like a big PB there for a morning swim. Could go close to getting her into a final potentially.
Yeah, sub 4:20. It's another step. And official results there. That second heat of the women's 400 freestyle. Now being displayed on the scoreboard. Well, they will be shortly. There. They go through, and behind the blocks now, we have our competitors in heat 3 of this women's 400 freestyle. And third heat in the water, 2 to come. And it's when you take a look at this 400 freestyle for the ladies, it's like in every event, Maggie, but you have a group of swimmers that can go sub 4:20, and you have a group of swimmers that can go sub 4:10, and then you have a pretty elite group that can go sub 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a shock when you're looking through the program. You're seeing the fours. Then we look today and we see Ariane Titmus at sub 4 minutes. That's pretty impressive to look at on paper. It's something that we didn't see in women's swimming for a long time. And nowadays we almost take it for granted, but it's very impressive to see a sub 4 minute swim in a women's 400 freestyle.
Question, 400 freestyle for yourself? How long ago, and how quick could you go?
I probably haven't done one since I was about 14 years of age. I quickly hung up the togs in that event. It was much too hard for me. I have trouble concentrating for 200 freestyle, let alone 400, and not cut out for it. The training these girls do, and guys, for this middle distance freestyle, very, very tough, very impressive stuff, and at least 2 to 3 times harder than what us sprint freestylers do. So I wouldn't trade positions with them for anything.
Well, they get rewarded anyway. The girls now getting that 1500 into Tokyo, and obviously the 1500's always been there in the Worlds program for a long time now, and great to see that the Olympics have made it a unison across both events, and just gives them another bite and another chance to take home some medals. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how some of these middle to long distance freestylers diversify now that the women have got the 1500 free and the men have got the 800 free. You'll have guys like Mac looking at potentially going up to 8. You'll have guys like Sun Yang as well, who's been really strong over the 15, looking at the 800 as well. And then for the girls, it's a question, will Ariane push up to the 15? Will Katie Ledecky push up to the 15? Or are they happy sticking with the 2, 4 and 8?
It's not as easy as you think either to go from an 8 to a 15. It's almost totally different. And then you throw in those open water swimmers as well that almost favours them to come down in distance to the 15 and sharpen up.
Yeah, it's a really interesting distance. If you think back historically, we had some really interesting races there between Grant Hackett and Ian Thorpe in the men's 800 freestyle, as Hackey came down from that 15 and Thorpe pushed up from the 400. So it's a different ballpark. It's not something that they have spent a lot of their life training for because it's only been introduced recently, and it's going to create some really interesting racing at those international events.
So going through there, 300, and looks like Yeronga Park back and looking good once more. Ebony Blackstone out there in lane 7, the 23-year-old. Obviously, Rob Van der Zandt's got his Yeronga Park crew going, and they must be doing the work.
Yeah, I think they're well known for doing the work over there at Yeronga Park. That's never been a question. Again, another tough race here for the girls on the outside. They've broken away from the field, so they're pretty much going solo. Not much to pace themselves off, so this is all guts here.
Oh, we saw Charlotte Mitchell in that last one, just dip under the 420 barrier. And these girls would definitely love to get under that 420 as far as they possibly can. It's going to be tight as make their way down. Ebony Blackstone there, Yeronga Park under the flags. Right on there, 420.64. Just ahead of Bianca Crisp of TSS Aquatic, the 20-year-old. In second spot, 421.75. Official results there from that third heat of the women's 400 freestyle being displayed on the scoreboard here at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre, and you can now see those results also on screen. Blackstone takes it out ahead of Crisp and Lavin. Next up behind the blocks, we have our swimmers in heat 4 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. So we've seen 3 heats, and showtime now, Maggie. These are 2 big heats to finish us off here. Top 8 qualifiers are going to come from these 2, and in these the middle lanes, see the TSS teammates in Melverton and Goff, and throw Leah Neal in there as well.
Yeah, first of the seeded heats. Expect them to start to push the pace here. We saw a couple of sub 420s. It's probably time to see some sub 415s now if these girls want to be serious about getting in the final. They'll have to push the pace here this morning.
Speak about big squads, St Peter's Western, very powerful, but gee, TSS Aquatic is right up there in the nation, isn't it? It's one of the strongest programs.
Yeah, it's really built strongly over the last 4 or 5 seasons. They've got a really good group there now at TSS, and you often do see these things come in waves. So once a few people in the squad start performing well, the rest of the squad lifts their standards, follows the lead, and you start to get multiple people making Australian teams and starting to perform on that world stage.
It just seems to have Kristen Elizabeth seems to have just such a great culture there, and a bit of field of dream. If you build it, they'll come as well, and they've recruited a couple of big ones as well. Obviously, the big boy McAvoy's seems to be really enjoying his time there.
Yeah, I think that's a big recruitment for them. That will for sure boost the morale around the team. A great facility there, obviously great weather conditions on the Gold Coast, so they've got all the ingredients. They'll definitely, again, be looking for a big year this year leading into the Olympic Games next year. They'll be looking to put 3, 4, maybe even 5 swimmers on the Australian team, which will be a huge effort for them.
Yeah, what a great little race we've got here. First of our real big qualifiers in the 400 freestyle for the ladies. 1 to follow this. And the 3 big names right there. Maddie Goff just in front. There in lane 5, but not far off. Kaya Melverton and Leah Neal. inside of her in lanes 4 and 3.
The girls in lane 1 and 2 here doing really well to stick with these front runners. They'll give themselves the best shot at making a final. So I'd expect to start to see Kia Melverton, who's better known for the longer distances, get stronger as the race goes.
Yeah, still Maddie Goff in lane 5, looking the goods.
Yeah, it looks strong here coming into the last 100 metres.
Yeah, made a good point about Carla Buchanan there in lane 2, just getting sucked along a little bit with the rest of them, and this is I guess kind of where if you can put in a really good heat swim, you're going to secure your spot in that final, and just come along for the ride and giving yourself every chance.
Yeah, she's done a great job here just to stick with the front runners. If she can have a strong last 50 here, she'll give herself a red hot chance of getting a final swim. She's right up there with them now. There's Maddie Goff still in the lead into the last 50.
So these 4 have skipped away, and see a little bit of nerves here, no doubt, because there's one more heat to come, and it's got the Commonwealth record holder in it, in Ariane Titmus, so you know it's going to have a little bit of pace to it.
If we just watch the girls this last 25 metres here, watch that kick, we'll see how hard they're pushing it towards the wall as they start to pick it up now.
Yeah, Kyle Melverton's really lifted here in lane 4.
So the girls definitely not resting on their laurels this morning. They know they need a strong swim to make the final.
Wow, close to under 4:10. That's impressive. Melverton,
There we go.
Beautiful final 100 for her. And the 2 TSS teammates headline that one. 4:09.95 for Melverton. Goff there, 4:10.34. That is some quick heat swimming. Leah Neal right thereabouts as well, 4:10.93. And also a great heat swim from Carla Buchanan, 4:11.47. And gee, sub 4:10.
That's a quick heat. They know what's to come, I think.
Yep. So official results there for that heat 4 being displayed on the scoreboard, and they're on screen. And behind the blocks, we have the swimmers in the 5th and final heat of this women's 400 freestyle. So away, 5th and final heat, and Maggie, probably one of the races of the morning, if not the race of the morning that we've all come to see, and headlined by Ariane Titmus, still just 18 years of age, and the youngster from right here in Brisbane.
Yeah, home pool. She's a real powerhouse in this event, Ariane. One of the things when you get to the stage where she's at now, where she's sub 4 minutes, she's got the luxury of probably sitting in 3rd or 4th gear this morning and cruising through to that final. It'll be interesting to see how hard she does push it. I'm sure she won't want to race too much energy this morning if we can look at getting a sub 4 minute swim tonight.
Ariane and cruise in the same sentence. That's a weird one. I don't think I've ever seen her cruise.
Yeah, that might be more the Dean Boxall and cruise than the Ariane and cruise, I suspect. But
it turns at the first 100, and 1:00.03. Titmus leads the way. Michaela Sheridan right there as well for USC Spartans, and Lani Pallister as well. And yeah, either side of Titmus, Sheridan, what a career, what a story. Absolute rock star through the age champs, and just won everything before her, and then a real roller coaster ride, and trying to find her way in the open ranks, and just slotted in up there in the Sunshine Coast, and she's just been outstanding the last 18 months.
Yeah, that can be the ebbs and flows sometimes of a professional swimming career. Particularly when you're strong at an age group level, it can be hard to make that step up to the open swimming against some of those bigger names. But yeah, the last couple of years, Michaela's come along in leaps and bounds. and she's looking really strong again here this morning. It's great for the girls in these heat to have Ariane there to pace off. They know if they can stick at her hip or better, they're in for a pretty quick heat swim and will be through to the finals.
Easier said than done, but they're doing a good job at the moment. And still Titmus leads the way, but it's super tight, that's for sure. And yeah, Sheridan's having a fantastic swim in that black cap in lane 3, lower to screen, and sucking along those outsider as well. And Lani Pallister in 5, and Dallas Rogers and Jenna Forrester.
Yeah, if we watch both Michaela and Ariane, neither of them kicking too hard at this stage, so they're both feeling pretty comfortable, I'd suspect, at this stage. As Ariane just starts to move away a little now, but I think I was safe in saying she's cruising. She looks very comfortable.
And just the consistency of Titmus off the back of career best season last year, and then to go to those Australian champs and the 400 freestyle, equalled her own Commonwealth record. It was one of the swims of the meet, and her 200 freestyle wasn't too bad either. Commonwealth record in that one at 154.3.
Yeah, to see her performing so well in both events at such a young age is really impressive. I'd imagine she's riding on a wave of confidence at the moment, and all of this would be feeling like a breeze to her at the moment. She's just so confident, swimming so well. Her technique's on point as now she moves away from the field with ease.
Yeah, so 50 to swim here, fifth and final heat, 400 freestyle for the ladies, and there was some fantastic swimming. Kaya Melverton dipping under the 4:10 barrier in that qualifier just before, and these girls might be just thereabouts, maybe just outside, but we'll see here now as Titmus comes down these final stages. It's going to be tight, maybe just under the 4:10, and gets it there, 4:09.72. Good final 100 there from Lani Pallister, 4:11.64. She'll be in the final. Michaela Sheridan too, 4:11.73. And then the rest, hold your tickets.
The rest, yeah.
It's going to be tight.
It's going to be tight. We've got a number of swimmers around that 4:11, 4:12 through to 4:14 mark. So we'll have to wait and see who's qualified here.
Oh, do not miss this final tonight, wherever you are in Australia and the world. There we go. Official results from that 5th and final heat. Titmus takes it out, 4:09.72. Quite comfy. And here's this results summary. Look at this field. Titmus, Melverton, Goff, Neal, Buchanan, Pallister, Sheridan, and Forrester sneaks in lane 8. And that is not just going to be one of the events of the night. It's going to be one of the events of the meet.
It's a loaded final. It should be quick tonight. Ariane was nice and comfortable this morning as we see the results come up on our screen now. Relaxed from Ariane, I expect to see something quick after that comfortable morning swim.
Yeah, so just those top 8 to go through. And we turn our attention, well, time flies when you're having fun, and we're on to our 5th and final event of our Day 1 Heats program. It's the qualifiers for the men's 400 metres freestyle. There'll be 4 heats for this event. Behind the blocks, Heat 1. And the first of 4 heats away, just the 3 boys in this one. And, well, maybe just outside that 4-minute barrier. And probably, first of all, they're looking to get under 4 minutes. And then on the flip side of that, it gives you an example of how fast Ariane is with her Commonwealth record at 3:59. So I think that she can swim faster than these 3 guys is not a slight on them, but it's just a testament to what standard that she's at.
Yeah, it really does show how fast she's swimming. All these guys, young guys, will probably dip under the 4-minute mark at some stage in their careers, I've got no doubt, but Yeah, Ariane, super impressive. Like we said earlier, really tough event to swim in a heat. So hopefully for these guys, they can pull each other along through this heat, stay close together, and get some good times.
So Maggie, just give us a rundown as well. You finished that 400 free, obviously into swim down, and then what's the process then between now and getting up for that final tonight? That's probably going to be around 6:30.
Most of the guys will go and swim down straight away. They'll try and get into some supplements, some protein, start to eat something to recover. Then they'll jump on the table for a massage, get a bit of a flush out, have the muscles feeling good. And the main thing after the heat swim is to start to wind down mentally. You don't want to stay up for it before the night time. You want to wind down mentally so you can go home and have a really good sleep, get the best recovery possible, and top up those energy levels for tonight.
So head home, go for a sleep. How long are you sleeping for?
Everybody's different. They recommend nothing more than an hour, but some of my best swims came after I go home and sleep for 3 hours. So it's everyone's different. But the main thing today is to conserve energy in the middle of the day, stay out of the sun, eat properly, hydrate properly, have a good sleep, and just be in a really good mental state for that final swim tonight.
And then just talk us through also, like training-wise, you ever do any race simulations at training and try and, I guess, simulate that process of maybe getting up for a big swim in the morning and then resting and then coming back at training at night and trying to replicate?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite common, particularly leading into big events, to simulate a couple of race days, just to get yourself in those sleeping patterns, making sure you're eating the right things, and test out a few different things that you might try on race day so you get them right in training before you do it on the bigger stage.
Yeah, some nice insight there from James Magnuson. Obviously, recently retired, but yeah, great to get that insight. Obviously, two-time 100 freestyle world champion and London Olympic silver medal winner in the 100 free as well. And coming here, Connor Sims in lane 4, the 18-year-old from Bond. 4:03.72. Gee, he'd love to get under 4 minutes.
Yeah, if he puts the hammer down here, he'll go close. I'm thinking 4:01, 4:02, a PB in a heat swim again. Huge achievement. So let's see how he goes this last 15 meters as the pain starts to kick in.
So close. And it's going to be just outside, but like I said, not easy in the morning, but a 4:03.82. The 18-year-old from Gold Coast. Yeah, good heat swim for the teenager. And the official results there from that first heat of the men's 400 freestyle being displayed on the scoreboard.
We will be straight into the seated heats now.
Yeah, and so behind the blocks we have the swimmers in heat 2. Second heat of 4 in the water, and some of these boys have dipped under that 4-minute barrier, and 2 heats remaining, and yeah, obviously their chances of qualifying here are going to be super slim, and they're not holding anything back. This is their final for these competitors, and they just want to produce.
Yeah, if any of these guys want to make the final, they've got to dominate in this heat. Their coaches would have told them that going into the event, so there'll definitely be a few boys putting it all on the line and trying to break away from the field and trying to avoid that sniper in the grandstand on that last 50 meters who can shoot you down very quickly.
Yeah, pacing so critical in that 400 freestyle. Really got to save something for that final 100.
Yeah, that's often the problem in the heat swim. You don't quite have that explosive speed that you have sometimes at night time. So it can be hard to get your rhythm in that first 100 meters. And if you go too hard in that first 100 of a 400, it really bites you in that last 50. So really, really tough event, the 400 freestyle to do in the morning. So hats off to all these guys.
Yeah, so yeah, 2 more heats to follow this, and those 2 big seeded heats. So, Jack McLaughlin coming up in heat 3, and then Matt Horton and Elijah Winnington in heat 4. And again, apologise for anyone at home watching on the live stream with those result summaries. Working on getting them up as best as possible, and obviously a reminder that it is only the top 8 fastest from each of our heats to go through and contest those finals tonight from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And looks like Matthew Robinson there, the 22-year-old from the Sunshine Coast, Kiwana Waters, is raiding up a storm, trying to give himself every chance.
Yeah, he's really picking up the stroke rate on this third 100 here. We'll see if he can hang on to that for the last 150. Not overly fast around that first 200 meters, so they'll want to pick up the pace a little bit.
And our finals program this evening as well. Well, we're going to get joined by Gian Rooney, and it's going to come to some commentary, and yourself on pool deck with all the interviews. Yeah, it should be a bit of fun.
Yeah, it should be good. We're bringing in the A team in Gian tonight, so I'll get booted to the post-race interviews, but that should be really fun. Hopefully I can give you guys a little bit of insight, having only just retired myself and knowing most of the swimmers, so a little bit of comic relief too, if possible.
Oh, I can't wait. No, I'm sure everyone is definitely looking forward to it, and no more so than the swimmers. And said this is short and sharp racing.
Yeah, the boys really picking up the kick rate now. They know what's on the line here.
Yeah, and into this final 100, and spoke about pacing, and it does look like there's been some good pacing here from Joshua Simmett, Trinity Grammar, just 21 years of age. They're in lane 7, the white cap, top of screen if you're watching on the live stream. But whatever you've got left in the tank now, this final 50.
Yeah, that's right. You see them going for it now. They're rating like 100 freestyle, giving it everything they've got left. It's a strong last 50. They're probably just a little slow that first 200.
But down there just outside the 4-minute mark. And will be Joshua Simmett, a 21-year-old from Trinity Grammar, 40092. Yeah, we just wait the referee's clearance from that second heat. There we go, official results for Heat 2 being displayed on the scoreboard. See the crowd there. Nice crowd in for our Heats program here this morning. And there's results from Heat 2 of the men's 400 freestyle on the big screen as well. And we'll turn our attention now behind the blocks. Swimmers in Heat 3 of this men's 400 freestyle. So stuff starts to get serious now, Maggie. 2 heats remaining, and this is where the big boys come out to play. And I guess the one thing stands out for me for this 400 freestyle, we can only take 2 to Korea, and there's three real big boys that stand out, don't they?
Yeah, 3 doesn't go into 2. Yeah, it's 3 big names. Obviously, we saw Elijah swim very fast at the Australian Championships in Adelaide. We've got the Olympic champion in Mac. and Jack McLaughlin, who has been in red-hot form, particularly the last 18 months. So it's been interesting to see how these guys play cat and mouse this morning in the heats. For Jack McLaughlin, he's so fit, the 400 freestyle is almost a sprint for him. He almost can't get his stroke rate high enough for the 400 freestyle, which is a very interesting problem to have. He looks really good here through the first 100. He usually starts a little back further in the field, so bit of a statement maybe here for Jack in the morning. Mac and Elijah will be watching this from the call room and seeing what they have to do to get through in a middle lane for the final tonight.
I guess swimming, much like running as well, but easier to come down in distance than have to go up because you've got that work under your belt.
Yeah, the hardest thing to do is probably to start low and go up in distance because those last couple of laps really do sting you. So for Jack coming down in distance from that earlier 1500 freestyle in his career, probably feels pretty comfortable in this 400, knows that he's not going to gas out in that last 100 meters. He's got a huge tank and he'll be feeling pretty comfortable about his fitness going into this second 200 here. Pretty quick first 200.
Yeah, 151.84. McLaughlin goes through quite comfy.
He's definitely making a statement. He doesn't look like he's backing off at all.
And his Chandler teammate, Mitchell Tinsley, right there as well, just 18 years of age. And spoke being in Brisbane, being in your home pool, and
yeah, he'd be feeling very comfortable out there today, Jack.
And under the watchful eye of such an experienced coach in Vince as well, has just seen him just go from strength to strength, and what a breakout year it was for him last year. That Commonwealth Games was certainly an unforgettable experience for him in that 1500.
Yeah, and just like Ariane, he'd be riding on a wave of confidence at the moment. Just seeing him around pool deck this morning, he looks confident, he looks fit. Let's hope he can carry that form throughout this year and into next year for the Tokyo Olympics. But like we said, pretty quick first 300. He's definitely not taken his foot off the pedal yet.
And when do you? Does he turn this final 50? Because he's still pushing it hard here to the 350. And just see it in his legs there. He's really driving.
Yeah, he's definitely making a statement. These boys in the last heat will see this now. As we watch him come around for that last 50, this is going to be a really quick swim. I'm not sure if he wants to be going this quick or if he's just having trouble with pacing because he can't see the other guys, but you see he's probably cruising now. Yeah. But this is a very, very strong heat swim.
Yeah, it's statement is the word, that's for sure. And hasn't really taken the foot off the pedal completely, so impressive here. It's going to be under 350 easy. That
is rapid.
Wow.
As he glides into the wall, that could have easily been a 346 high there.
348.09.
That's a huge statement. And those boys in the next heat will now want to get on their bikes and have a quick morning swim.
And so close for second. That's for sure. Parrish, Tinsley, those 53s, 54s. Jacobson there as well.
So we see Jack on the screen now. He doesn't look too puffed. He could be bluffing. We don't know.
Official results there on the scoreboard, and you see on the screen, but very impressive qualifier for Jack McLaughlin in that men's 400 freestyle. And behind the blocks now, we have the competitors in the final race of our Day 1 Heats program. It's the fourth and final heat of the men's 400 freestyle. So there we go, last race, and just over an hour. It's been a splash and dash, no mucky around. We'll take the top 8 qualifiers across these 4 heats through to the final tonight. And a reminder to all our fans in the stands and those watching online, courtesy of Swimming Australia on the live stream, on our website, Facebook page, iSwim app, 7+ app as well. Finals commencing from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And here in this one, Maggie, Olympic champion Matt Corton, a rising star in Elijah Winnington, and they both had to see that last effort. And
Yeah.
what do you think be going through their mind?
Makes for a very interesting heat now. Often you want to make a bit of a statement in the heat and get that lane 4 for the final, particularly in an event like 400 free where you want your competitors either side of you. You want to be able to see them, know where they are, keep track of where you are in the race. So both Elijah and Mac would prefer to be in if not lane 4, one of those middle lanes. So they'll want to put in a strong swim after that rocket from Jack McLaughlin.
Yeah, that was fantastic swim. Probably the swim of the morning for yours.
Yeah, easily. That's a huge swim. Like I said, if he hadn't have backed off that last couple of strokes, he was looking at a 3:46 morning 400 freestyle swim, which is rapid, world class.
So these two boys are making their way down to the halfway mark, and Horton and Winnington probably in the spot where you think they'd be in that all too familiar black cap. Elijah Winnington, 19 years of age, breakout year last year, the Gold Coaster, set the pool of light there at the Commonwealth Games, and Mac Horton right alongside him, the Olympic champ. They go through both 153, and yeah, Mac's had a tough preparation too, hasn't he? A couple of injuries and having to get it back on track and pull it all back together. It's not easy.
Yeah, it hasn't been a smooth prep for Mac, but it's all part of the learning experience. It's better to have that preparation this year than next year leading into Tokyo. Just iron out any problems that he's had in his preparation or his program. Interestingly here, you'll see on one lap, Elijah's breathing towards Mac, and then on this next lap, Mac breathing towards Elijah, and Elijah can't see him. So not ideal for these two not being able to see each other the full race, but they'll be aware of where they're at. Not quite as fast as Jack McLaughlin at this stage.
Well, probably not surprising, because that was really quick, and understandably so. These guys going through here, 100 to swim, and just so competitive. And you know how competitive Horton is as well. He doesn't like to lose a heat that he's in a lot of the time. So and you can see that now, that competitiveness starting to come to the forefront as he pulls up alongside Winnington, and also Thomas Neal, the 17-year-old of Rackley in lane 3, having a good race too. Yeah,
he's doing really well to hang on to the hip of these leaders. As we just watch on this last lap here, see how hard they kick this last 50, see if they pick up this stroke rate. That'll give you a good indication of how much effort they're expending in this morning heat. As we look at Mac, looks like he wants to win this heat, but Elijah's not going to let him have it easily.
Yeah, you can tell Horton in that 750 really made a charge, and now into this 8th and final lap. Just trying to get over the top of Winnington, and Winnington kicks again as well, so these two boys will push it all the way to the wall. Said it's going to be close to that 350 mark, so not a bad swim either, but they come down to touch. It will be the Olympic champion Mac Horton, 350.50, just ahead of the team from the Gold Coast, Elijah Winnington, 351.09, and a great swim out there, 17 years of age. Thomas Neal, fantastic heat swim for him. Be stoked with that, 352.7.
Yeah, great job by Thomas to hang on to the two leaders there. So we see Mac and Elijah shake hands.
There we go. Official results from that 4th and final heat of the men's 400 freestyle being displayed on the scoreboard. And that result summary. You see that time there from Jack McLaughlin, the Commonwealth 1500 champ. Sub 350, but Horton right there, and Winnington as well. And we said 3 won't go into 2, and that is going to be another incredible final. See there, only the top 8 will go through to tonight's final there on the big screen. And
so we'll have those 3 in the middle lanes for tonight. They'll all be watching each other. It'll be a big one.
Yeah, it's great to have the crowd in there as well. So on behalf of the Swimming Australia team, all those here at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre or watching online, courtesy of Swimming Australia on our website, Facebook page, iSwim app, or 7plus app. I hope you enjoyed the Day 1 Heats program. And a reminder that Day 1 finals commencing this evening, 6 p.m. sharp, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And all those finals, women's 100 fly, Emma McKeon right there, Bree Throssell, men's 100 breaststroke, Matt Wilson, Jake Packard, Zach Stubblety-Cook, Kaylee McEwen there in the women's 200 IM, Abby Harkin, Blair Evans, and then the 2 big ones, the 400 freestyles, Ariane Titmus, Melverton, Goff, Pallister in the women's 400, and then the men's 400. Matt Corton, Elijah Winnington, and the form that Jack McLaughlin's in is going to be a great way to finish off our day one program.
Yeah, I expect both those races to be really fast. We saw some good heat swimming from some big names this morning. I don't think anyone expended too much energy, so I expect tonight to be rapid.
Yeah, you can see our program events on the big screen there. So on behalf of the Swimming Australia team, I'm Kurt Hansen, joined by James Magnuson. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. We look forward to you tuning in or attending here at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre at 6 p.m. this evening. A big thank you and good morning.